These boxes right here supposedly contain a pretty awesome inflatable boat. It's supposedly so awesome that it can actually replace one of those. And this is a 1548 John boat. Well, let's find out. In this video, we're going to be reviewing this Sea Eagle Fish Skiff 16 inflatable boat. Yeah, it's as big as that one. Maybe bigger. That's what she said. Ooh-wee. Hey, if you like free stuff, whether you fish with a bobber or not, make sure you stay around to the end of this video. I got information on a contest where you can win one of these boats. Don't be jealous of my skills. This is not going to be your typical YouTube unboxing review today. Apparently we're not supposed to eat that. So disappointing. It looked delicious. Came in a cardboard box with a whole bunch of stuff that makes noise if you hold it up to a microphone and nobody wants to hear that. What we are going to be looking at is the practical use of this thing. Can you roll it up? Is it actually stowable? How long does it take to inflate? Then we're going to put it on the water and see if this inflatable boat is actually worth buying. So for science, and only for science, am I going to blow this thing up with that little hand pump that it comes with. I would never do this in real life. I'm only doing this for a video. I have an electric pump and it doesn't take long at all. But I'm curious to see how long this little hand pump will take. I'm going to start this timer and see how it goes. And the instructions say to inflate the floor fully before you proceed. So we'll do the floor first. I am 6 minutes and 17 seconds in. We're still, I'm not pumped up yet. This sucks. Why would anybody do this? Is this thing even registering yet? Oh, we're not on 0 anymore. That's good. Oh, my back. Oh, my back is not made for this. We are 10 minutes in and we are almost at 8 psi. What does this thing have to be inflated to? Between 14 and 15 psi. Oh my God. I'm gonna be here till next year. God, that sucked. We were at 14 psi and it took 13 minutes and 53 seconds. Buy the air pump, the electric one, or if you got some kids, pay them to do this. This sucks. I much prefer the easy method. Now we just need to get our transom bolts installed. They have a washer on each side. Well, they said the floor needed to be fully deflated in order to get this in, but I'm not finding that to be the case. I'm going to deflate this floor just a little bit. Screwdriver and a BFH fixed everything. So it only took 3 days of recovery, a whole bunch of Advil, and 2 chiropractor visits to rejuvenate myself from inflating this floor. Don't ever do that. Get the air pump. I'm going to deflate this thing and see if I can roll it up and put it in the bed of my truck so I can take this thing to the lake. This thing fits back into this bag. It would be an absolute miracle. That is unbelievable. I can't believe that fit back into the bag. And on the first try. Now the real question is, can I pick this thing up and get it into my truck by myself? We're gonna find out. Give this a shot. This is the only problem, is I can barely get both my hands around both of the straps. It makes it kind of difficult to carry. Let's see here. Okay, well, we made it to the back of the truck. Sea Eagle, I love you guys. If you are watching this, I'm gonna need a check for my pain and suffering for doing this video. All right, first real world test. Let's see if this was more easy or difficult than it was when I did it at the shop. They do include this big foam block that fits down in here where that inflatable keel is. You just throw that in there. It's got this little Velcro strap that goes over the top of it. Overall, not too bad. I'll go back and time it on the video and leave it down here and tell you exactly how long it took me to blow it up with the electric inflator. So this battery that I'm using is a Powerhouse 60 amp hour battery. So what I'm going to be running my trolling motor on today, and it's what I use to inflate the boat with. And you can see right there in the app, it was fully charged when we got here. Just use 4%. not bad. That gives you an idea of what kind of battery life you're going to use out of your trolling motor battery if you use a 12-volt inflator. 4%, I can't complain about that. It saved my back and it was worth it. It really wasn't that bad. I think maybe 15-20 minutes at the most to get everything completely set up. All right, let's see if I can get in this thing without gravely injuring myself. That front keel actually doesn't really make a whole lot of difference even in an inch or two of water. Yeah, it's dragging just a little bit right there, but if I pull it off just a little bit further, it ain't doing nothing. Whoa! Thing's more stable than I am, I'll put it to you that way. I think we got one. Yep, we got one. He's a jumper too. Oh yeah. Come on in here, buddy. This is for all you bass fishermen out there. I caught this just for you guys. Just out of pure curiosity and for testing's sake, I want to see how easy this thing is to put into the bed of my truck. And I also want to ride around with it in my truck for a couple days and see how it does. I'm actually going to put it in tonight and take it to work with me the next couple days and see how it does. I do like having this area to stand in the back. It makes it super maneuverable. Really not that bad when it's fully inflated. It's just when it's all packed up, it's kind of difficult to move around. Uh-oh, I didn't think this through. I'm trapped. That's why they don't let old people in the happy place at McDonald's. Well, we're gonna rock a single ratchet strap on the way home and see if this thing goes anywhere. I think it's just a bunch of flex. It actually ain't moving. I mean, I grabbed this thing and kind of yanked it all over the place, and it doesn't really seem like it's going anywhere. And I did grab the ratchet strap and said that's not going anywhere, so it should be fine. One thing I'm glad I did not do the other day was say a whole lot about the boat. Just wanted to test it out and see how it goes, but I made one crucial mistake. I did not read the instruction manual before I put this thing together a whole lot. I read it a little bit, but not all the way. One thing I should have paid attention to was the working pressure of the inflatable. I only pumped it up to about 8 to 9 psi the other day when I put it in the water, and to be honest with you, it was stable, but it kind of felt like I was walking on a waterbed. If you were from the late 1900s, you know exactly what a waterbed feels like when you walk across it. If not, you missed out on the golden era of life. I'm sorry. So the working pressure of this Sea Eagle is between 12 and 15 psi. They recommend if you're gonna be fishing on a really hot day that you bump it down to somewhere in that like 13, 14 range. I'm going back fishing today. I'm gonna pump this thing up to 14 and fish on it some more, and then we'll give a good final opinion on it. Yeah, I can definitely tell a difference. This is a lot more stiff. Is that the word? Stiffer? It's stiffiness? I don't know. It is definitely more stable than I am, and I can definitely tell a difference with that increased pressure. It does not feel as, well, squishy, I guess is the best way to describe it. But also, it doesn't feel like you're get that waterbed effect. Like, I don't feel like every time I'm walking on the boat, like the whole boat is like kind of doing one of these. It's not really moving with the water. Read the instructions, people. Now, here's one thing to be aware of. If you are over, I'd say probably about 5'10", 5'11", when you sit down in this seat, you may eat your knees. If I was going to keep this seating style long term, I would get some kind of riser or something, maybe even like a removable seat base, one of those quick clamps, just to raise this seat up a little bit. Now, what I will say is this thing is absolutely perfect for chilling like this with your feet propped up on the side of the boat. Like, it's perfect height for that. I'm 6 foot, but it is not perfect height for this. As far as tracking goes, I'm running a 55-pound thrust trolling motor on the back of this thing. It tracks extremely well. The only thing I've really noticed is it is very sensitive to heavy wind gusts. So when I was out here earlier, there was absolutely no wind, and I was able to troll around on speed 1 on this trolling mode, and I can make it go wherever I wanted to with no issues. We had a storm blow through, started raining, and the wind picked up to about 15 miles an hour. And even at speed 2 and 3 on this trolling motor, I could tell that the front end of this boat really just wants to kind of go wherever the wind is pushing it. As for draft, I think that's one of the most impressive features on this boat. So I am 240-ish pounds. I don't have a whole lot of weight in the boat, I have a little 20-pound battery, about a 25-pound trolling motor, the seat. I got a thing of water and a couple fishing poles. And as you can see, this thing drafts extremely shallow. I'm gonna guess somewhere in the 1 to 2 inch range with just me and the boat. Now that front keel that's inflatable, I was really worried about it when I first got out here. I thought it was going to be hitting on some of the shallow areas that I was going to try to get into, and it really doesn't. I think it only adds about 4 or 5 inches to the bottom of the boat. But with the way the nose comes together and then curves up, the front nose of the boat actually stays out of the water most of the time. So that keel is only, you know, just a couple of inches in the water in the first place. So it really doesn't seem like it affects a whole lot. As far as stability goes, this thing's plenty stable to me. I'm able to walk all the way over to the side of the boat and I don't feel like I'm about to go take a swim. I can walk all the way up here to the front. Now the front does get a little thin, but it is still very, very stable. I don't feel like the whole front of the boat's gonna topple over. Now, I do not have very good balance, so I'm not going to sit up here and try to walk down these little gunnel rails, and I can barely walk around a boat without falling over on my own. Fishability wise, I really don't have any complaints. Things been great. I came out here, threw a bunch of different lures yesterday, you know, pretended like I was bass fishing. Today I'm just out here throwing a ultralight with a small red wiggler and a small bobber, just seeing what's out here. The padding that they put on this floor, the turf or whatever it is, not sure what brand it is, but it is super soft and super comfortable. I love walking around it on my bare feet. It was about 90 degrees at midday today and I was walking around on it barefoot. It was warm, but it wasn't uncomfortable or unbearable. I was still able to do it without any problems. I stood out here for about 2 hours and fished before that storm came through earlier. Now, I did not put any of the accessories on this boat. It came with a whole bunch of stuff. It comes with a second seat and a seat base. Came with a rail up here and a trolling motor mount, so if you wanted to front mount a trolling motor, you could do that. And it's got a lot of accessories already on it. It's got a little paddle holder, so that's one less thing you got to buy. It comes with four different places that you can mount rod holders. It comes with the rod holders. They're Scotty mount rod holders. The boat's rated for a 10 horse, so you can stick as big a motor on here as you want. Up like a little Torpedo would do great on this. The Newport NT300. And hell, this is still a 55-pound truss throwing motor, pushed me around at 3 miles an hour all day today and yesterday. I know there's a lot of YouTubers that have done reviews on it, gotten all kind of crazy speeds with bigger horsepower outboards. Tell you one thing I do absolutely love about this boat is how quiet it is. To me, it seems like it is quieter in the water than a kayak is, because you don't have that hollow hull slap noise, and it just drafts so shallow. It's insane how shallow this thing is. It's almost like there's a mattress, like a blow-up mattress sitting on top of the water is how it feels. Another giant for the win. I wish I would have brought my cooler. I have a bunch of catfish bait by now. I don't care what nobody says. Coming out here with a little bobber and a night crawler is a lot of fun. Even catching these little fish back to back on an ultralight. Yeah, they fight. They're just a lot of fun. So the big question is, do I recommend the Fish Skiff 16 inflatable boat? 150 million% yes. It is an awesome inflatable. And the big question that a lot of people are going to be asking is it better than, or can it replace, an aluminum John boat? In some cases, I do believe it could, but not in all scenarios. Where this thing shines is portability. If you fish somewhere that has limited access to where you can't tow a John boat or a V-hull boat or any kind of boat on a trailer, and you can only pack in, you know, something like in the bed of your truck or in a Jeep or something like that, the Fish Skiff would be an awesome option. One particular scenario that comes to mind is I used to do a lot of kayak fishing, and the only way that we could get our kayaks into certain spots on the river was to drive off-road through the woods and underneath a bridge that crossed over the river. And we had to strap the kayaks to the top of the Jeep in order to get it back there. That way we could put in the river with a very small motor, go upriver, and then fish our way back down. The Fish Skiff can be deflated and rolled up and packed into the back of a Jeep or a truck, drove off-road to somewhere like that, inflated in place, and then put into a river and have a very, very comfortable day of fishing, because the Fish Skiff is just a big, roomy boat. It's got a lot of room to move around, and you could put 2 people in it instead of having to have 2 separate kayaks. If you wanted to go fishing with somebody, you can put 2 people inside that boat very comfortably. And the draft on it is so shallow, I wouldn't hesitate for 1 second to put this in any of the rivers here in Georgia and probably anywhere else. The other scenario that comes to mind where I think that the Fish Skiff in its packable form makes a lot of sense for if you are a truck bed camper, an overlanding style person, or even have an RV. While it does, you know, kind of take up a little bit of space, it's still packable. Like you could store this inside of an RV somewhere. You could strap it to the top of an overland style vehicle. You could put it in the back of an overland vehicle. You put it in an SUV and it'll definitely fit in the bed of a truck. The other thing you could do is plug it into one of those handy racks that goes into your trailer hitch receiver and set it on that for when you're traveling, if you don't want to mess up like the inside of your truck bed where you're going to be sleeping at night. And that's what I think I'm going to attempt to do. I want to do some truck bed camping at some point this year, and it'd be a lot easier to get in and out of some of the places that I want to camp if I didn't have a boat trailer with me. And having a fish skiff packed up into a small package and just sitting in the bed of the truck, it'll allow me to get to places in like national forests where the roads are probably going to be too bad to tow a boat trailer behind me. Now, don't get me wrong, the fish skiff by itself is perfectly fine in its inflated form, and I would feel totally comfortable putting it on a trailer and actually using it as a trailerable boat. Just got to make sure that you use some kind of protectant on the vinyl, because the sun will destroy it, so you got to keep up the maintenance on it, and make sure that you have a halfway decent trailer that can tow this. Now that I'm thinking about it, that little cheap 4x8 Harbor Freight trailer, you could put some plywood down on top of it and maybe get a little bit of a tongue extension on it. I think that fish skiff fully inflated would slide right up onto that trailer and off with no problems. So let's talk about this contest that I mentioned earlier in the video. You guys probably recognize this goober. He claims to be one of the most elite and premier boat builders on the entire planet. And he also happens to own one of these Fish Skiff 16. While we were talking the other day, I kind of mentioned to him that it would be really cool to do a build on one of these, you know, kind of put a deck on it, you know, maybe some storage, and there's a lot of things that could be done to the fish skiff to make it a really awesome boat. Not that it's not already an awesome boat. I think it's great as it sits, but you know, it's a boat. There's always room for upgrade. So during this conversation, Chucklenuts decides to tell me that he thinks he can build a fish skiff better than I could. I very politely told him that I think he's been huffing too many permanent markers while he's in his studio editing his little motivational speeches that he likes to give at the beginning of all of his videos, and he has obviously lost his mind if he thinks that he can build a fish skiff better than me. So we're going to have a fish skiff build-off competition. So what I need from you fine folks here on YouTube is to leave comments down below this video and let me know what you think the rules of the competition should be. Do you think we should use aluminum or wood? Do you think we should be limited to one or the other? If you do want us to use aluminum, are we riveting only? Are we allowed to weld? Do you guys want to see some kind of budget build? If you do, what kind of budget are we looking at? Now, if we do a budget, it's going to have to be something reasonable. I don't know anyone that can build a really awesome fish skiff for $8.50 a bag of Cheetos. And I also need to know how you guys are going to judge this. How are you folks, the viewers, going to tell us who wins, me or Mike? I mean, we already know it's going to be me, but I need to know how you're going to tell me, and how you guys are going to vote to tell me that I beat Mike in the boat building competition. So once Mike has been permanently defeated and the competition is over, we're going to give these boats away. So let us know down in the comment section what you guys think. Give us some suggestions. After we get all the suggestions, I will sit down with King Ding-a-ling Boat Builder and probably a neutral third party and come up with the ground rules, and then we'll announce the beginning of the competition here on YouTube. If you don't have any suggestions for the competition, just go down in the comment section and let us know who you think is going to win. If you like being wrong and you think that Mike is going to win, just comment down there, Team Mike. If you have a partially functional brain and you know that Mike is going to get absolutely destroyed, go down in the comments and write Team Send It.